bear with me here. I think that virtual reality could end up being one of the most important technologies in the history of mankind. Most of you probably don't agree with me, but you probably think that it's pretty cool. Show of hands, pretty cool? All right. And one cool thing about VR is that you guys show it, and I think even normal people show it, is that everyone understands the concept of VR. Some products, some technologies, you really have to sell people on them. You have things like the Fitbit. You have to sell people on why they should buy this thing, how it integrates into their lives, how it can make their lives better. But VR has been in the popular consciousness for a long time, even if it hasn't really been usable. I think that VR is actually being driven by the people who make the content and the people who consume the content. And that's pretty unique in the content industry. What we have today in virtual reality is very primitive, but it's already capable of providing experiences that you can't get any other way. And technologies like that don't come along very often.
How do virtual reality headsets work? VR displays can vary between using 2 feeds sent to one display or 2 LCD displays. There are lenses placed in between the user's eyes and the pixels to focus and reshape them to each eye. The lenses can create a stereoscopic 3D image by angling 2 2D images to mimic how each eye sees the world. VR headsets also use head tracking so that the picture moves with the user as the person moves their head. All headsets plant users on a 6DOF graph, which allows the headsets to measure the user's head movement on an X, Y, and Z axis. Some headsets also have additional features to more accurately capture the user's head movements. The Oculus Rift uses 20 dim LED lights to track head movements. More advanced headsets, like the FOVE, use infrared sensor monitors on the user's eyes inside the headset. VR headsets also use sound because it is easy to convince a person that sound is coming from different directions, making the experience more immersive.
Virtual reality dates back much further than most people expect. 1838, Charles Wheatstone discovered viewing 2 side-by-side stereoscopic images, or photos through a stereoscope, gave the user a sense of depth and immersion. 1929, Link Trainer is invented. It is the first flight simulator and is entirely electromechanical. In 1961, 2 Philco Corporation engineers developed the first precursor to the HMD as we know today, the HeadSight. It incorporated a video screen for each eye and a magnetic motion tracking system. Even after all of this development in virtual reality, there still wasn't an all-encompassing term to describe the field. This all changed in 1987 when Jarion Lanier, founder of the Visual Programming Lab, coined the term virtual reality. Through his company, Jarion developed a range of virtual reality gear, including the Data Glove and the iPhone head-mounted display. They were the first company to sell virtual reality goggles. Some uses of VR include military, healthcare/surgery, architecture, art, entertainment, education, business, the media, sports, and rehabilitation/treatment of phobias.
Researchers use virtual reality at our own Georgia Tech to treat people's fear of heights. In 1995, Larry Hodges from Georgia Tech and Dr. Barbara Rothbaum from Emory created a virtual world that placed the participants virtually on an elevator, bridge, or a roof at Georgia Tech. After 2 months of 45-minute sessions once a week, the participants said that their fear of heights significantly decreased.
Some critics say their experience with VR is rough because VR is great when you first use it until you spend a lot of time with it. After a while, you get extremely bored. The gameplay usage is the same every time you use VR. Yes, it is great at first, but it gets very dull. Then you start to experience different problems with VR. Some of the problems VR seems to have is that it may cause eye strain, dizziness, nausea, lightheadedness, and drowsiness. I disagree with what the critics have been saying because I feel like VR will make a big impact on the future. So Certain people do not care about how the VR headset feels on their head or about what can happen to their body if they use it. People adapt to things like seat belts, certain hairstyles, certain clothes and shoes. All these things people learn to adapt to because it's in their lifestyle.
In conclusion, the future of your virtual reality is uncertain. It can go one of two ways. It is possible for VR to be a failure. The headsets are expensive, there are varying forms of headsets with all different programming, and people are waiting for companies to produce more material for VR headsets while companies are waiting on more people to buy headsets. Or virtual reality could take off. And where would we all be in that world? Would it be like WALL-E, where everyone is staring at a screen constantly? Do we, as a society, really want that? These are ramifications that come with progress. At the end of the day, we have to ask ourselves, how far do we want virtual reality to intrude into our lives?